You're muted.
Welcome to Wired Wednesdays, everyone.
Yeah.
Is it better? Okay, there we go. Okay,
There we
look
go.
at that. See, I just moved my mic actually, Dave, on this side.
Oh.
So it's not just in my. Oh, but I got the light here. So, see, we're still trying to figure this out. There it goes. Perfect. Well, yeah. Welcome everyone. Let me pull up the chat here. We are streaming on YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. See some familiar names, Mr. Crypto Frank. What's going on? Crypto Craig, son of a Rabish. Turtle Tech. 10 minutes to midnight. Crypto Craig. What is going on? Mining Kiing, of course. Best show on the planet. Thank you, Mr. Mining Kiing. 306 Miner. What's going on? Mr. Retro Mike. My favorite member of the... I don't know what it's called, the subscriber. You have the Bomb Squad. Everyone has the Kingsman, the Hawks Nest or something. But the Golden Hawks. We got to make one for me at some point.
Yeah. Let's see what everybody's thoughts. What is it? What the heck?
These blue lights are making me look tired. I look like a... It's fine. Maybe I am tired. Who else do we have? Automatic Beats. What's going on? Tech Man Ty. So yeah, it's been another week. I'm still trying. Let me switch this. There we go. That look better. There we go. Some orange. But I'll let you start, Dave. What's been new in your life in the past week? It was Labor Day weekend, right?
Yeah, so just doing some stuff with the family and just back to work. Just the norm, That's about really just trying to see if that piece that I made, the amperage meter in the box, if people are interested. So I'm just getting feedback on that. If we do like a minimum order quantity, so I can make them like a pre-order, but we'll see. Besides that, just making cables for the AL zeros and of course KS zeros, and just a lot of other box miners that people are purchasing for the 6-pin to 6-pin.
Yeah,
but besides that, just busy doing that and just driving through this crazy market right now. That's all.
It is crazy.
Yeah,
I saw a couple hours ago. I guess Radiant is making ASICs now.
Yeah, I just saw that too.
Do you think it's going to be like the same thing, Dave, where it's like the RX 0 and then the RX 1, 2, 3? You think it's going to be like the same? Well, I guess playbook that you could say that Caspa and Elysium did.
I think it's I think that miner is going to be like a heavy miner. I think it's like a terahash, right?
I don't know. Let me share this.
It's not a small miner, I don't think. It's not like a home miner. I saw some stuff, I think Rabid Mining.
They're up 53% today on the news.
Huh.
I mean, I think I know we were talking about this last week, right? Like these new ASIC miners that are coming out.
Yeah.
And like the price relative to the release date, right? Like I think we were talking about that with Frank on the last, Wired Wednesdays. And I think that this is going to be just another story of that. You know what I mean?
I know.
So it's like, I know I saw Panda put something on Twitter a while ago about it, and he kind of retweeted it, like I told you so type thing. But it's almost like we could foresee which coins are going to get these ASICs, put onto their algos, and maybe it's worth it to do some kind of like investing with that. You know what I mean? Like worst case, you put some money in a coin and it doesn't pop, it kind of goes down. You win some and you lose some, right? But if you can make like a top 5 or 10 list of coins that you think might hit this, then not hit this, but get some ASICs on their platform, then you could really make a lot doing it.
I mean, to touch base, I would say personally, I guess you're going to dabble into, it's almost like not mutual funds, because that would be a bad example. But it's very volatile crypto, right? But I'm just saying, like, you're dabbling into so many things that the probability of you losing it all is a little bit lower risk, I guess, in my opinion, right? So you just need one to do something, but you have to dabble into it enough for when something happens, you do have enough in it. right? It's like it's a double-edged sword in a way. You just have to be able to say, hey, it's gambling. If you really think about it, it's gambling, Mike. You're gambling.
No, you sound crazy.
You're gambling on any type of coin to hit it big, to get rich quick. I mean, that's not the case, right? I mean, certain things, I mean, you dabble a little bit more, but at the end of the day, I think dabbling is just conservatively, you should be okay as long as you can afford it. Like, you know, if you can afford $100, let's just say, you know, something small that makes sense. Let's say $100 a month. If you can afford to lose $100 a month, just to say, or put in $100 a month, it doesn't change your life, man, go right ahead, do it. You know?
Yeah. I mean,
that's how I look at it.
I kind of look at it as that, and also the flip side of that coin, right? Is, you know, Bitmain, Ice River, Wind Dragon, whatever it is next, I don't know. Like, it's not going to stop. Like, manufacturing ASICs is not going to go away for other, you know, applications. It's you know, they have the Bitcoin, the Litecoin, and like all the major ones. There's Script, you know what I mean? Like SHA-256 Script and all these specific algorithms, but they did Caspa and they made a killing on it. And I'm not a, it's not that I'm not a huge fan of the project. I think the project is heavily inflated from the backing of the money flowing into the ASICs, right? I think it would be naive to say that it didn't at least help, right? How much it helped or whatever, it gave visibility to a fantastic project. They could have, right? But they went to a lithium now. Caspa miners are kind of popping down, you know, it popped a little bit, the bubble. Now the price is going down of the miners. The coin is staying stagnant, which means there's not a whole lot of buy pressure on the coin because there's still a hell of a lot of sell pressure, right? I guess there would have to be some good buy pressure too, but then a lithium, those miners are extremely expensive now. I'm guessing the Radiant ASICs are going to be the same thing. So long story short, what I'm saying is, like, there will be other coins. And I think Radiant was a coin that people could foresee this happening too. You know what I mean? Like, I think Panda saw it. Some other people saw it. A lot of people in the chat probably were like, yeah, you know, Radiant probably has something like this. I know that there were some sketchy things going on with, you know, the amount of hash rate that was on this network prior. So I think it's worth looking into that. And it's still, you know, I hate saying like, you should buy something. It's not financial advice. I do like to give some financial advice, but I never will when it comes to buying a crypto. But I mean, a $13 million market cap on a coin that is going to have a multi-billion-dollar company creating machines for it. I mean, I'm going to pick up a bag of this. You know what I mean? Like you said, not like a risky amount. I'm not going to pick up a bag like it is going to go up. But if you were to bet on something and know the market and how the other, you know, the market's, you know, been, you know, reflected the production of these units, then why not? Why, you know what I mean? Like, if you were to bet on something, why wouldn't it be this? You know?
I agree.
So it's Mr. Oh, I see let me catch up on some of the chats here. Oh, there's a lot. I went on a rant. You should have stopped me, Dave. You got to blink 3 times in a row, and I'll just mute myself. I have to give you control to be able to mute me.
That's funny.
Too much sell pressure drove the price down. Yeah. Let's see. Mr. Mining Kiing, GPURiser. I wonder why people are all about ASICs right now. Currently, my ASIC hedges are all not doing well. All my AI investments are up. AI investments, in my opinion, are. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, King. Like, I made a decision back in the day because you made the videos on, like, you know, AI marketplaces like a long time ago. It's a long time ago now, right? It seems like yesterday, but that is what I kind of went 90% of my portfolio into, was like hardware for AI, and it's paying off heavily. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very happy I went into that, but that said, my return, we're dealing in a market where, like, here, let me switch back to this window. We're in a market and I don't want to say community, because the YouTube community is not completely like this. There are some people that are adventurous investors, I guess you could say. But this right here, this chart is what people are chasing in the crypto field, I think. a vast majority of them, right? The ones that they're not looking to, like the AI stuff, right? The AI stuff, my return on that is right around, I want to say 12 to 13 months. That's my estimated return. To me, as like an investor in projects and things like that, and even just in the financial world, a 1 year return or payback on your equipment, not a return because there's salvage value, but a 1 year return on what you invested and you still have the equipment, to me, that's like a no-brainer. You know what I mean? It's very risk adverse too, because you have the salvage value, you have that equipment that you can always sell. I can, if AI goes to shit tomorrow or something happens or these marketplaces get banned, I could just, there's a long line of people that play video games that would love 4090s. You know what I mean? And I can offload that quick. So
I would love
long story short story long, is that a lot of people in the crypto community, 12 months is like outrageous to them. They're like, oh, it takes me 12 months to make my money back. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And this crypto world has brought a lot of that, because a lot of the things that you see online are like 10x. You see X, the word X, right? And then I'm happy with like a 1 year 1.5x. I'm like ecstatic. That's a 50% return in a year. You know what I mean? But if you saw people on Twitter doing all this stuff, oh yeah, 1.5x your money, everyone just scroll. You know what I mean? Like,
no, return is fucking fantastic, Mike.
Yeah, like it's.
I mean, on a, I don't know, an investment standpoint.
Yeah, 100. I mean, Dave, you've been in the financial world too. It's a 1.5x on your money. That's unheard of. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, Bernie Madoff was doing 1.2, right? And he was just running a giant, scam. So that's how I always look at things. But short story long, Jarrett, Eric Mining King. The ASICs are what's exciting, right? The AI is a long play. That's how my AI has been. I set it, forget it. Yeah, you change the configuration around a little bit. Prices go up, prices go down. Want to get rented. Yeah. But it's not like I can't turn my, $1,000 into 10,000. It's not, like I could with a potential ASIC. Right. You know what I mean? So I think that's why, is because of just the community, and also AI demands bandwidth, demands uptime. A lot of ASIC people, they curtail, right? A lot of these hosting companies, they curtail and they get benefits from it. And they pass the benefits on to their customers, right? But, you can't be on VAST with a 97% uptime. You'll just get completely railed. You know what I mean? My mouse is dead. That's how long I'm ranting, Dave. My mouse died.
Nice. Crazy. So my sub 10 was saying that on my budgeting for a 5090, 2500-ish. Man, I'm behind the times. I just got some 3090s. I have like 3 3090s last year. And my gaming computer has a 3070 in it. I refuse to put anything higher in there. Works perfectly fine.
For your gaming computer?
Yeah, my gaming computer has a 37. I mean, it's the EVGA. It's nice, right? But it's just like I just can't see putting something that can make money on VAST. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I have a 4090 in my machine, and I'm kind of in that boat too. Where I'm like,
saying? It's just like,
yeah, it's always a battle, right? Like you'll have these, like I have 2 proof of useful work rigs here. They're both the same. You can't really see this one, but they're both Epic boards, right? And they're empty. Like I could fill 2 4090s in each of these and go, and it's like it's killing me watching it.
I mean, I literally, when we were doing Ethereum and I built my gaming computer, I put I think I had like a 3060 in there, dude.
Yeah.
Like I think I took the 3060 out and I put a 3060 Ti because the 3060s were better, right? So I was just like, I didn't care, man. I was just like, I want to make some money. And everybody counts.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of that way. I recently have changed. Like I do have a 4090 in my computer, 7800X3D. But I have gotten more into like trying to unwind playing video games. Like I like to play Call of Duty every so often, you know what I mean? And I like to play in 4K. I know I am bougie with that.
You definitely.
But I used to not be like that. Yeah, it used to be where back in the Ethereum days we would have, at the time it was a lot of mining rigs. It was, I think probably $6,000-$7,000 worth of just cards, like zip tied, perfect. No amount not spent on this, right? We had to spend as much as possible. And then my gaming rig is like just tied together with like shoestrings and stuff like that. It was like that for a while. But Mine Some 10, what's up, man? Better reminder, what are you budgeting for the 5090? What did you say, Dave? What are you budgeting for it?
I don't know when I'm ever gonna get a 50. I mean, I'll get a 4090 probably when the like 3090 prices, man. Honestly,
Yeah.
I just can't see myself spending the money for like, you know, gaming when my games work fine on 3070 for now. You know, it has
Yeah.
RTX, so it has the,
Yeah.
you know, it has everything that you need. So,
Yeah.
I mean, half of these games you can play on potato anyway, bro. So it's just
Yeah.
like, I mean, I bet a 1660 Super still is effective. I'm like, God. But I will play the new one. We're gonna get the new one, right, Mike?
The Black Ops?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
saw some guys have like the beta. I don't know if you can get into the beta or not, but it looks fun.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah,
fun.
it does. Yeah,
So
I think
we better play multiple GPU rentals or a single GPU rental. Mine's some 10. Well, mines are single. I have it on Vast, so I still have mine on Vast, and they're single 3090s. But if I could do it again, I would have built it as a dual 3090 rig. I got crazy. I started building so many rigs, and at one point, I think I had like 12 rigs up, Mike. At one time, remember?
Yeah.
It's like 5810s and 7810s.
You had a lot. Yeah, I remember that.
And then I was just like, yeah, it's too much. Just doing too much. So I like literally have like a couple of rigs on right now. I took everything else off, but it's like a consistent $45 a week. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah, no, it's
doing
pretty
anything.
good.
I don't have to touch anything. It's $45 a week. You know, on 3090s.
Yeah,
I'm good. You know,
but the 5090, I don't think Mine Summit's going to be 2500. I think the 5090 is probably going to,
Mike.
Huh?
I think they're going to push back in the 50 series unless there's more information out there. I don't think that 50 series, the 40 series didn't do that well.
Well, I think the 4090s have been doing, in my opinion, too well. Like, I think, like, NVIDIA has.
Why would you need something else?
Yeah, well, you need something else to, like, for the consumer grade cards, right? Like the new Tensor cores, the higher,
right.
You know, like basically all the new RAM and everything. Like, you need that for all the new games that are coming out, right? You can't have stagnation. Like, it has to. I don't even know if that's a word, but you can't be stagnant. You have to keep growing. And the problem with the 4090s interfered so much with NVIDIA's AI cards and their data center cards. So you'd have, 4090 that was pretty much equivalent to like an NVIDIA card that was like $4,000. And that, like, looking at it from an NVIDIA standpoint, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
So they are going to do something in this next generation, whether it's just waiting longer so that their ADA Lovelace generation and is bought. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what they do, is they kind of flip it, right? They have the data center cards come out way before, longer than they did before, so that data centers, AI companies, machine learning companies, they all buy that stuff, and then they can't wait for this stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know. Their 4090s were very overpowered for AI or ready for AI, I guess. But I think the 5090s are going to. I mean, they have to start under $2,000. I see it as like $1,899 probably, or $1,799 for a Founders. Thing is, NVIDIA knows people will pay it, right? So that's the thing that they have now.
Who has the next best thing? Oh, I have the 50 series card, F the 4090. Yeah.
It
is.
Crypto Frank, 20-30% is crazy gains in my world. Yeah, it's nuts. Whatever happened to everyone hating ASICs, now it's a necessary evil. F that. Yeah, I mean, it's every time I see an ASIC get dropped, GOAT, it's like, this helps the network, right? And it does. I understand that argument for it, but everything is just going the ASIC route, right? And it's getting the smaller at-home miners kind of out of the game with it. And it's making these projects not being able to be as competitive, right? Instead of building a good model and a good chain and all these different things that these layer 2s are doing and blah, blah, blah. Like, instead of doing that, what these chains are going to start doing, these projects, is they're going to start building their business model into what is going to get ASICs on the network. because then all of the devs and the project managers are going to get filthy rich off of it, right? That's like their wet dream. Is even if they're passionate about the project and they love it, it's still just like it'll make them so much money. You know what I mean? And that could be a good thing for the project, because like Caspa could bring money to the project, hire devs. It's not like this work for free type thing, and we hope it all works together like Ethereum was for a very long time. S19K is unprofitable. Yeah, I know it's tough right now, right? That's at least they're efficient compared to like the J's and the J Pros. Thing is, right now, like I see some people turning off, not a whole lot, because I do like the billing side. It's Terra, right? We see kind of what people are doing. You have a couple hundred clients that, and you see trends, right? If I had an S19K, like I would just leave it on, right? It loses $1 a day, just say, right? Let's use simple numbers. You're still writing off the electric. You know what I mean? And if you're looking to accumulate Bitcoin, that's a good way to accumulate Bitcoin. If you believe Bitcoin's going to go up, then do it. Worst case, you lose $30 a day. You know what I mean? It's better than turning it off and then turning it what are you waiting for then? You're waiting to turn. If you're turning it on, that means it's profitable, which means all the Bitcoin that you've been mining is now worth all of that. You were worth so much more. You know what I mean? So I see some people turning off their machines. I'll wait until it's profitable again. It's like, okay, well, once that happens, your machine's not going to be anywhere near as profitable, and you missed out on all the mining rewards that you could have gotten. Your minus $1 a day is probably equal to like $6.
I think the terminology is, cost averaging that you're saying, Mike. That's what.
You're
cost averaging throughout the whatever long term, or 6 month, 3 month, or whatever the case may be. So with that being said, let's just say Bitcoin's down here, even though it's not that profitable. But then when it goes up, then that non-profit would make you a little bit more profit, and then vice versa, and then it should try to average out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people miss that concept, right? I look at it from a tax perspective, right? Just say you're losing $1 a day, right? We went through that. $30 a month is what you're losing to keep this machine on, or even if it's $2 a day, whatever, $60 a month. I feel like a lot of people, and I feel like because I know. But a lot of people, I don't know, just because I'm just like I said, we're in the business. We talk with these clients. Majority of these people have a job where they're getting a W-2 and they're getting taxes taken out of it. If you have a mining business, businesses aren't always going to make money. You have years where you lose some, you win some, and then you pay your taxes, right? So if you're losing $30, $60 a month, you could still write all of that off. And then if you're running negative while you're holding and accumulating, doing DCA or whatever you want to do, then when you get your W-2s and stuff like that, and you have a loss on your business, the tax that was withheld from your job, you can get a refund on. So it's almost like if the people that I see turning off right now, unless it's absolutely necessary, right? Like $30 is make or break it for like a water bill. Like, of course, you got to turn the thing off, right? You should sell the thing if you're at that point. But this is the time to accumulate and just understand, okay, it's going to lose a little bit, but in the long run, I believe in this. That's why I'm doing it. And maybe I'm buying this type of ASIC or that one. And you can do, you could do tax benefits or tax. I don't want to say tax loss harvesting, but that's kind of what it is, right?
Here we go.
And you can get your refund back from the government. It's kind of sad getting every time I get a refund back from the government, I feel awful, Dave. I just think about how well they could have used that money. You know what I mean?
I know, right?
It just breaks my heart, honestly.
I hear you.
The Mining Kiing. AI is steadily over time always made profit. Yeah, it has. I've been, as soon as you started getting into that world, King, and you made that video, I was like, this is it. Crypto Craig, I solo mined Radiant way back in the day, early last year, great times, 50,000 blocks. Yeah. God, this is why spec mining is great, right? And maybe that's what you do, Dave. Instead of buying bags like this stuff, you just take X amount of money and split it between 5 coins that you think are gonna, or I'm sorry, you instead of buying it and doing that and splitting it up, you just direct your mining rig and kind of split it up with rewards like that, and just hold a bunch of different bags.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, like the Mining Kiing, his bill just to stay on for cost averaging, he's on a massive scale. It's like $3,700. He was saying on the live stream, right?
Yeah.
In the comments, that's a different animal, ladies and gentlemen. Just to let you know. So I'm saying we're saying like maybe little box miners or something like that, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Like that you feel like very positive about the project. But like if you got a couple of, Bitcoin miners or something like that, probably won't change your life if you can handle something like that. But now on large scale is a different animal. That's for sure. Yeah.
We're kind of far back. I'm going to try to jump through these a little bit. The AI rigs are the shiz. Yes, 10 minutes to midnight. I agree. Crypto Frank, NVIDIA earning report hopefully doesn't mean AI compute has peaked.
No.
No, actually, I just put up NVIDIA here. I'll go over that in a second. I know everyone, if anyone wants to fall asleep, they can stay for that segment. But I read through the report, just the highlights, right? And not like I'm sitting there reading all of it, but it still shows really strong growth and strong guidance. Just because it's not growth like it has been doesn't mean that it's not good growth, right? When you look at things as percentages compared to revenue numbers, the percentages can be lower, but the revenue is higher, right? Because it's already at a higher revenue. So lower percentage is more on that, if that makes sense. But they still had great growth year over year, month over month. And I don't think that that's going to go anywhere. All these companies are now buying the H200s. And I mean, I do think NVIDIA is going to be overvalued at some point, but I don't think it's there yet. But what's the better play? Multiple GPU? Oh, we're really far back.
You're far back. Just jump all the way to live chat. Go on the bottom.
Yeah, let me just go all the way to the bottom here.
Yeah. I was reading the things. No one was asking that.
Joker Miner, I don't write off electric, so how to show Joker Miner? You got to set this up as a like a business that you have.
Yeah,
I don't have enough stuff for a business, unfortunately. I mean, a business is a term. If you're in something for profit, right, and it's not a hobby, you can't just have a hobby and be like, I'm going to lose money every year on this. But if you have, just a couple of ASICs or a couple of GPU miners, I mean, that's going into something for business, right? I mean, who's to say that there's like a dollar value,
Right.
So that's the point. Writing it off as a C Corp or LLC, all the write-offs roll over to the owner, so you don't have to show so much income, which will reduce the taxes you owe. Yeah, the problem with the C Corps, though, is that C Corps are taxed at the corporate level, and then they're taxed to the owners. So you don't want to set up any of this stuff as a C Corp. C Corps are like for, really large, like Fortune 500 companies that, this should be done whether it's profitable or at a loss. The write-offs, 100%. Yeah, I think anyone doing this, like, and that's how like the IRS looks at it, right? Like, is this a hobby? You can't write off, and depreciate equipment that's a hobby of yours. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not how it works. But if you're buying all this equipment and you're going into this with the idea that you're going to generate money from it, and that's your goal, then it's a business. You know what I mean?
Right. But I mean, you guys have to be aware too, like certain states, after like 3 years, something like that, you keep on writing off and claiming a loss, they're automatically going to put you in a tier of a hobby. With that being said, you can't write off a lot of things.
Yeah. Like if it was,
they'll put into a hobby and they'll like, I guess devalue the business or something. Like, you heard of that, right, Mike? Because I was looking into that. Like, you want to depreciate, like an amortization schedule for like the things that you purchase for the business, because you don't want to like front load everything at once. It's just silly. It's not. You shouldn't do that. You have the business.
Mr. Goat helped me offset gains and other income from 3D. Yeah, 100%. All those feet picks, you know what I mean? There's no overhead, Goat, for your feet picks that you sell. So that's all straight income. You got to have other streams of revenue that are things that you can, write off. Mr. Crypto Craig, I buy stuff at the end of the year just to go negative. I mean, it's called tax planning, right? It's a good time to buy at the end of the year, right? If you can do your taxes, or at least estimate your taxes before the end of the year, then you can make better decisions, right? But I don't want to get into all of it because it's going to be a very short story long. But sometimes you got to take stuff off the table, right? It's not worth it to, You see all these things on Instagram, right? These people wearing these suits, and they're like, I bought a Range Rover so that because it was free and I wrote it off. It's like, no, like you're gonna write off some gains, but what are you taking off the table then? If you're just netting zero every year, you know what I mean? There's like a give and take. You got to take some stuff off of it. Have we looked at price of bananas yet? Not yet. I'll bring it up. 100% overvalued right now. Mike, what are you basing that on? Fugazi. You're basing it on Fugazi. I like numbers. I base things off numbers. Yep, I'm far behind. I have 32 GPUs, 3 big boy ASICs, 7 home miners, and 7. That is definitely enough to do LLC and write it off, Joker Miner. That's way more than enough to do it. I mean,
even if you don't have them running at all times, Jesus Christ, you have the GPUs to write off, the ASICs to write off, even the phones, electric, and just taking as a minimum square footage of your home if it's in your home, so you don't screw yourself. With that, you're good to go.
Yeah, I have no tax people around. Yeah, you're 100% right, Dave. I have no tax people around me that do crypto. Crypto, like, it freaks out because I've worked with CPAs and like attorneys and stuff like that. And when you say crypto, they just like, if they don't understand something in their field, they just shy away from it, right? They rather say that, like, they just go away from it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There are a lot of nightmares with crypto, right? I think that accounting and tax perspective of all of this is it's because you're trading, right? And you have all these cost basis and all these short-term, long-term capital gains. That's where it's really confusing. And you have like Bitcoin.tax, but honestly, setting up a crypto mining business, it's one of the easiest things to set up. I'll just be honest. You have your equipment that you buy, and then your overhead is your electric, any rent that you have, or any space that's available in your house that you're using and dedicating to this. You could write off some of that square footage. Some of your internet bill that might be associated with whatever's for that. And it's the same thing as a business. It's like,
rule of thumb is usually like 300 or 400 square feet you're allowed to write off in the home. Anything after that, then you go into different tax things and valuations of your home, depending what state you're at, that will consider, like, when you sell your home, it was like a partial business, you have to pay tax when you sell your home. So these are accountants will tell you this kind of stuff, though, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's very simple. Like, just put in perspective, all the physical things and tangible things, it's a business. Your GPUs are physical and tangible things, so that, like, you're using these things as a business. The electric, you get a tangible breakdown of how much you're using in electric. So, like, all these things, how much money you pay for all these things, I mean, it's pretty basic for the most part.
Yeah.
But when you have to, like, debits and credits when it comes to, your gains and your negatives when it comes to your crypto wallets. But you have that what the hell is it called, Mike?
What is
that? The crypto thing?
Like the website?
No, that you can use for that. Oh, you just said it.
Like Bitcoin.tax, like the website. Yeah. There's a couple of them. Bitcoin.tax just keeps popping in my mind. I don't know why. It might not even do exactly what I'm saying, but but yeah, the stuff with trading crypto and reporting the taxes accurately is a nightmare. Honestly, like, that's why I avoided a lot of times, like, doing all this speculative mining. But you can do fair estimates, right? Like, if it's not down to the exact cent, it's not like the IRS is going to come knock on your door, right? You have to pay taxes that are due, obviously, any income, but it does make it easier if it's just nice hash. We see some clients do that. They're like, I just want to mine a nice hash. I don't want to deal with this pool and this and that. And it's a lot easier doing it like that. You know what I mean? If they have script miners that are going to Bitcoin rather than, because then they have to get, Doge or Litecoin converted to Bitcoin, and then that's or to USDC, USDT, or whatever. And it's this whole, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, doesn't really matter if it's Bitcoin, but every time you do that, it's another taxable event, and that's why CPAs are like, nah, I'm not doing that.
It's a lot of work, basically, what Mike's saying. So the CPAs, they want to do the least amount of work as possible, and like Mike was saying, if you don't have all these debits and credits, just in a freaking spreadsheet, they don't want to do this shit for you.
Yeah.
They have enough. That's the problem. You have to find somebody that's willing to do the work.
Yeah, 100%.
But you find somebody that's willing to do the work, you'll be in a better situation. That's all.
Yeah. Max voltage, you don't need to be an LLC to write off expenses. So yeah, you don't need LLC. You don't need to file anything really. You could just, there's something called on your taxes a Schedule C, and through there, that's where you're kind of like a sole proprietor. You're self-employed. This is my income, and this is everything. You know, I've actually been thinking, Dave. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I know a lot of people have been doing it. King just did it, where you know you can offer kind of one-on-one advice. I got to look into it, but I was thinking of maybe doing something from like an accounting and tax perspective, like as an attorney, you know, and helping people with this stuff. But I want to be honest,
Mike. You would help so many people out, bro.
Yeah, I just it's a lot easier than people think. You know what I mean? And I know that it's scary when you're doing it. A lot of times it's like taxes are a scary thing, but really once you do it the first year, because you know, I've helped some people here with taxes in the chat, and like once you do it the first year, it makes it, you literally just go in from last year and you're like, you see your last year number and then you see your new year and you're like, you know what that number's for. Oh, that's my purchases of GPUs. Let me do that. It's just getting over that first hump that's kind of a pain.
Right.
So ask ChatGPT how, yeah, honestly, it can work. Mike, what are you saying? Nope, it's not true. NVIDIA way overvalued. Okay, Mike, let's see what this genius analysis is. Mr. Jim Cramer here. All through vendor lending, boost their sales numbers, self-inflate. Mike, do you know what vendor lending is? Every major company. I actually saw, you know what's weird, Mike, is you mentioned this before, and I actually saw an Instagram reel about vendor lending. And it was this guy that was clearly like short NVIDIA, right? You could just tell he was like sweating that like NVIDIA's at this valuation. He's probably just has massive amounts of like puts on NVIDIA. He could barely stay up. But do you know who? Okay, every major company does vendor lending. Every major company. And their largest clients are like Meta, Amazon, X, like those companies aren't defaulting. You know what I mean? Or if they do default, the likeliness is like, it's so low, right? Like if they have a vendor that they default to that defaults, like an AI startup, even if it's $100 million, that's not going to affect them really. You know what I mean? 100 million is a lot, but 50 million, you know what I mean? It's not really going to affect them a whole lot. And they have a whole internal risk analysis group probably that like has, this is how much we can lend. But like lending to Meta, you know what I mean? Like I would gladly lend to Meta. You know what I mean? That's a very low risk one. So the vendor lending thing makes no sense. I don't know why that FUD even got into the algorithms here, but that's a very common thing that pretty much, I mean, you could even say like invoices that are net 30 is vendor lending. You know what I mean? Like even holding it for 30 days. But I used max voltage tax avoidance for my taxes last year. There was someone at BTC Nashville that said that. It said tax avoidance strategies. I was like, God, that's crazy. Coinly, yeah, Coinly is the one that did it. My head hurts. Joker Miner, though, I'm telling you, especially if you're in this for the long run, which I know you are. You could really use this as a benefit. So it's Coin Tracker. Yeah, there's a couple of them out there. Mr. Jeffkey, what is going on? Flux. We could talk about Flux in a little bit too. That's been killing it. Jeffkey, you have an interview with the Mining Kiing. I'm excited for that.
Tomorrow, I think, right?
Yeah. Mike's active today. The pre-workout's kicking, Mike. I saw you went to the gym. Everybody worried paying taxes, making $100 a month. LOL. It's not about the money that you're making. It's about the money that you have spent that you can reclaim. You know what I mean? That's really what it is. Like, why can't the government just... Huh? I'm sorry.
The Mining Kiing has it on Friday. I'm sorry.
Oh, on Friday. Okay.
50. Yeah, with Flux.
Why can't the government just track my shit and just automatically do the taxes? I want to be lazy. Yeah, then they can implant something in our heads, King. Yeah. And then they can tell us, you know, what we're doing and how we're doing it and everything like that. Yeah, we don't want that. We're getting advice from Instagram. I'm not the guy that was on Instagram, Mike, which is creepy. That they're listening to us. So if they can listen to us, they could do our taxes, right? But no, it was weird, Mike, because you said that, and then I got an Instagram reel of like this like hermit crab sitting in his basement, just like with the lowest resolution camera, and it's like up here, right? And he's just sitting there, and he's like, "This is why NVIDIA is overvalued. They're lending cards out on lines of credit and it's going to crash. It's like, no, absolutely not. It's Meta's going to pay their bill. I'm not too worried about it. You'll see, mark my words. Heard it here first. It did drop, Mike. It's down like 15% since its all-time highs. But I think that's just because money's kind of leaving the markets a little bit. I'm trying to catch up, guys. You guys are talkative though. I love it. I'm having trouble getting my transactions off MetaMask for proof of work POW blocks. They rugged, and there's no Explorer. Yeah. I don't know anything about that, bacon, eggs, and hash. But I hope that you get it back.
I hope so too, buddy.
Mining Kiing Friday. Yeah, Friday. It's gonna be a good one. Nas City, is GPURisers going to be selling a GPU server? No. We did before, right? We sold white labeled Octa miners called the R8. Not getting into that again. GPURisers it's just like an at-home business. You know what I mean? Like it's for open air frames, just risers, splitters, SSD. Thermal pads are big too. We do a lot of thermal pads. So it's kind of like you're getting into your first one, right? Like you haven't started writing the deductions off, and you're setting it up right here. That's kind of like where we are. As long as I don't have to do taxes, I'm okay with it. Yeah, I saw a couple of things.
Else, King.
Yeah, I saw a couple of things like, what if you just never file taxes? Then they don't know. But if you file taxes, they
once
know if
you
you
file,
did
you're in the system. That's the thing. So you don't exist in a system until you get your first job that you file your taxes.
Yeah.
And then once you file, they want to wonder why you didn't file 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's it.
I'm going to do research and do a video on it, put everything in my video. Yeah, do it, Mike. Do it. If you do something, let me know. Yeah, I'll let you know, Joker. There's like a fine line with financial, legal advice. I don't know. Honestly, everyone says not financial advice, right? But I don't really see why not. You can always get sued for financial advice, but it depends on what you're saying, right? Like if I told you now, this is financial advice, like put $100 away every month into the, an S&P 500, like a Vanguard 500 or something like that. Like that's okay to say stuff like that. I think when people say not financial advice, it usually scares me because it's like what they're about to say is probably like really not going to be financial advice, right?
You're supposed to say that shit when you're on YouTube and that's it. It's like a rule of thumb.
Yeah, well, I think there's like a stigma with it, right? Where it's like
security purpose. Like nobody can misinterpret what you're saying and say that you said something, and basically now you're liable for it by being on a live show or doing a video or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. That's what the not financial advice. I'll say that forever.
Yeah.
People are crazy, dude.
Yeah. Made 90K over the last year on Nvidia. Love the stock. Paid off my Tesla. Yeah. It's Nvidia is. I definitely can't complain with Nvidia either, King. It's I've been. It's not. I don't want to say I got into it early, but I got into it just because I invest in companies that I work closely with, right? Like I invested in Lumen, which I got out right before it skyrocketed. But I invested in like
Nvidia. That conversation.
Yeah, like day-to-day things where like I interact with it, right? Like if you're reading something online and you're like, hey, buy this stock, do not buy that stock. Right. Or join my group for $10 a month, and these are the top 10. Don't buy those stocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's good to invest in things that like you use on a day-to-day basis, and you're like, okay, this makes sense. Or you go to Home Depot and you walk. I know it sounds crazy, but if you go to Home Depot and you walk around and I'll use this as an example. Actually, I invested in Starbucks and I made like a 20% return on it within like half a year, and I thought that's amazing. The reason I invested in that is because I had to wait 30 minutes in line one day, and I was sitting there for 30 minutes, and I was just counting the cars going through. And then when I checked out, it was like $12 for 2 drinks, and I'm like, I'm gonna invest in this. Like this company's margins must be huge, so I invested in it, and it was a good call.
And you weren't the only one waiting for 30 minutes. There was a shit ton of people waiting for 30 minutes.
Exactly. You couldn't get the coffee out fast enough. It was crazy,
dude.
But cash out, not financial advice. Mike, I don't know why you don't like Nvidia. You use numbers, Mike. If you can give me analysis using their numbers and their financials, then I will be like, yes, Mike, this is good. What is it, DD, due diligence? But
I love NVIDIA.
Yeah, NVIDIA's been like a tank.
Personally making out like a bandit with NVIDIA. Personally.
Yeah.
I got in early, you know?
Yeah. I mean, here's their oh no. Yeah, I can. This was their most recent one, 7/31/2024. This was their third quarter. Is that what their third? No, their second quarter. Revenue numbers. I mean, you could still see it's, if you do, will this let me do year over year? Yeah. Or I could do it through here. Annual looks crazy, right? Like if you do annual, it's going to be, yeah. I mean, 60 million. I mean, this actually the annual is not the right way to do this because it hasn't been all of 2024. So, but I mean, another $4 billion in revenue. I mean, just over the last quarter growth. I mean, that's 10%, more than 10% growth month over month. And then, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to analyze these companies and how they're doing. But the best numbers kind of are, EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax deductions and stuff, and stuff. There's just these companies are just kind of, here's net operating. Where I don't like the way that this is laid out. Normalized EBITDA. Why they don't have the full things on here? I don't know. I'll try to look that up later. I could do an analysis with you, Mike, on this too if you want. We'll have both sides of it. But I was looking at, yeah. Let me go over one. There we go. I mean, their margins are also huge. You know what I mean? They're not operating at any kind of loss. Again, I can't pull their full. Actually, can I pull their balance sheet? Do they have? Yeah, I mean, they have like 26 billion sitting in cash.
I'll take a little bit.
Yeah, that's honestly not a lot if you like compare it to like Apple. Yeah, Apple is very cash heavy, but Nvidia is also like spending a ton of money. But overall, like as a chip company and as like a semiconductor company, they are doing very, very well compared to AMD, compared to Intel. They're AMD, Intel, and TSMC are overvalued compared to this. So TSMC, let's see. What is going on today? Why is... yeah, see.
AMD is going to pick up, though. I know AMD is going to pick up for sure. They're like surely but slowly to the race, in my opinion. I think they'll pick up.
Who, AMD?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's whoever's first to the race. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of see it. It's like,
but there's different like AMD is in like certain different platforms than what NVIDIA is doing as well. Not just on the gaming aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have, you have FPGAs by Bitware that they use AMD software that are like $14,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there's like I guess there's a niche for every, for these companies. Obviously it's competition too, but I guess there's a use case for everybody.
Yeah.
I think that honestly, I mean, yeah, they're, when it comes to like, would you want an AMD, it's AMD Intel, but NVIDIA's like, for the graphics cards, stuff like that, and other things. But I don't know. I think they're gonna both do very, very well.
Yeah,
the market changes.
I
don't think AMD is going anywhere. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think they're not doing great.
They're not doing great right now.
Yeah, I mean their growth is negative over some of the. Let's see what their prior quarter is.
It's been a while, Mike, for sure. Look at their
yeah.
charts.
I mean year over year growth. It's
wire.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. It's and that's what's weird is that Nvidia brought up all of these companies. You know, a rising tide raises all boats.
Yeah.
And so AMD really has benefited well. Not as well, but it still is. I always go. I know I mentioned it before. I don't want to get too into this. It's just financials, but I always go to the price per earnings ratio, and that's how I always judge stocks. Moreover, EPS can be diluted. I know one of the guys mentioned that before. Beta is just your volatility in relation to the market overall.
AMD, what do you think? Do you think they have any longevity, or they're done?
I think that they have longevity. I think their leadership is good, right? Like I judge a lot of companies by their CPUs are, like great, right? Like AMD's, I think, just railroaded Intel. I think they're a way better company than Intel, and they they put so much money into R&D and everything like that early on. Kind of had all of that going for years and years, while Intel was just making the same i7 processor year over year. Right. But I don't think AMD can touch NVIDIA when it comes to GPUs. I don't think that they have the usability. NVIDIA early on started with CUDA cores and everything like that as kind of a bet, right? Like the CUDA cores and all of this, the ray tracing. It was a bet that that's where the market was going to go and use. And sure enough, AI ended up using it, and they did hit the jackpot. But they aligned themselves for that, right? So it's like, the luckier you get, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And I think NVIDIA had a better vision on this and where they were going. And AMD just did so well in the CPU market that they were just trying to make GPUs. They were trying to. There's a reason why NVIDIA doesn't make CPUs. You know what I mean? They're focused on the one thing.
It doesn't. And it doesn't make financial sense.
Yeah. But
one point, you never know, right? I could see it happening.
And that's the thing is it. I'm not saying NVIDIA won't have a correction. I think it kind of already did a little bit, but I'm not saying it could correct down another 25%. But if it does do that, it's going to decimate every other chip manufacturer, because if NVIDIA is overvalued, that means that this market is overvalued, right? Which people say AI is the bubble, it's going to pop. But it very well could be. I don't think it is, just from where I don't see anyone slowing down, right? The second I stop seeing these language models being released, Llama being updated, and Grok, Elon Musk with X just deployed like 100,000 H100s, and then he already said what he's buying for the next year, or the next was it quarter or half a year. So sales are coming down the pipeline for NVIDIA for that, which if he's doing that, Meta's going to do it. Meta's doing it. Google's going to be doing it. Google's doing it. Microsoft's going to be doing it. You know what I mean? So I think that they have the sales lined up already, and it's already like a race against all these other guys in the FANG group, the Facebook and all these guys. So yeah, I don't know. I think if it does crash, and it's going to crash a lot of these other companies are going to be humbled. GPURisers' recent lawsuit against NVIDIA claiming to trap clients into their systems. I only read a headline of that, King. I never actually looked into it, so I don't know what I could chip in with that. But yeah, I mean, the reality is a lot of these companies that do get sued, unless it's like an antitrust suit or something like that, it's a slap on the wrist. You know what I mean? But I don't know enough about this to kind of comment on it. But I'll look it up because it's interesting. Hobbyist Miner going live with last giveaway box. Ooh, what's he giving away? I guess we're going until, we probably got another 15, 20 minutes on this, and then I don't know how to do a raid. We'll figure that out. Ships, Mike. Ships. I don't know. I should change the I'll think of a different term for it, like short story long. Intel's losing a lot of ground. Yeah, losing a lot of ground. Kind of sad. It is. Intel used to be. Intel's like the IBM, right? Which I have a long play for IBM. I think IBM is going to be really big. The second Intel told Apple no was the moment they lost the game. Yeah, NVIDIA does make CPUs. Yeah, NVIDIA will correct at least 25%. Why do you think that, Mike? With a technical analysis of their financials, why do you think it's going to drop 25%? If they do correct 25%, which I'm not saying it's impossible, but if they do, AMD is going to be in the doo-doo. So it's possible, right?
Yeah, because that's a lot, Mike.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So,
Yeah.
like, oh my God. Huh. Yeah, AMD might just be
I think
trying to make it happen.
The interesting, because I watch this one guy a lot, and he's not a very well liked guy, but his name is Martin Shkreli. I don't know if anyone remembers him. He was the one that raised the price on the pharma drugs and went to jail for a couple of years. He's not the best person in the world, right? But he's very smart. He's a very smart guy. And he does like daily streams now, right? Because I don't know if he's on house arrest or something, but he's on YouTube. And he doesn't have a really big following, which I think is kind of surprising. And yeah, he might done scumbag stuff. I'm not talking about his past, but he's very financially savvy, right? Like he goes through the earnings on all these companies, and he kind of does an analysis heavily into like the biotech and pharma fields, but those are getting really tied in with AI companies in the tech sector. So he's kind of getting into that too. Not necessarily like chip manufacturers and stuff, but his big play recently has been quantum computing, and the companies that are like really, spending a lot of money right now in the early stages of quantum computing, which one of the biggest ones is IBM. And there's another one called, I think, Ionic, IONQ. I don't know if that's how you say it. I'm just sounding out the ticker, but yeah, it's GPURisers. Hawk has a feeling. His feelings are always correct. Yeah. Suffering Pelosi pump. Looking at earnings per share doesn't show all the indicators. That's easily manipulated. When Nancy Pelosi sells ISL, or it's earnings per share is manipulated. It can be manipulated, so it's hard unless you're narrowing down the sectors. That's why I look at the PE ratio, the price per earnings ratio, because that is not as easily diluted, or it can't really be diluted, because regardless of the price, it's two constants, right? And it's a ratio that stays the same. But hot crypto, yeah, it was a lame attempt. Pelosi pump, any new cables? Dave, I think you said that, right? No new cables?
Yeah, no new cables right now.
Yeah. But yeah, IBM I think is a good buy. I think the quantum field is going to tie in with the AI heavily. I think that there are two different types of compute, right? And I think that they both can't be intertwined. A little bit they can, but not. They're two different types, right? And it's one is going to complement the other, and vice versa. So I think quantum is going to be a good buy here soon. And IBM has like the most patents when it comes to that. These quantum computers are insane. You know what I mean? These things are just like, these are just nuts. Have you seen pictures of these, Dave? The quantum stuff?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's like in like sub-zero temperatures. Like it's a whole different way of compute, right? And you need like these insane machines to be able to do this, and qubits and like all these different things. And IBM, I guess, recently in the past couple of years, they kind of broke the limitation on how many qubits they can use to compute, which is a huge breakthrough.
Jesus.
And IBM, yeah, what was it?
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they recently had a lot of stuff, and if anyone's into the AI side and the crypto mining side, the blockchain side, quantum is just another type of compute, right? I know a lot of these projects just throw terms around, you know what I mean? Like AI. Luckily, Flux has like a platform now. I'm very excited about Flux Edge. That's gonna be a really awesome interview. Mike's doing. There's a couple other projects doing quantum. I think Dynex was mentioning quantum or something. I'm not gonna get into the Dynex spiel here, but quantum is an interesting field now. I know people have been talking about it for years and years, but there are a lot of breakthroughs coming now. I think this would be a good time to do it. But I don't know how I got on. See, this is what happens when I drink a huge thing of coffee. You go, Dave. You talk for a while. I'm at 100 words a second here.
No, you're doing perfectly fine.
But yeah, let me see if I can see the article. IBM. I didn't read this, so I'm just going to put it up so that you guys can see it as well. Let's kind of go through it here a little bit if anyone's interested. Is this shared? Can you see this, Dave?
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah, this one was this June? This is a year ago.
I'll make it a little bit. Can you make it a little bit bigger or no?
Yeah. There it goes. For the first time, IBM used a quantum computer to solve a problem that stumps, blah, blah, blah. Is this going to talk about... Oh, look at that. See, that's what I was talking about. These things... This is the Dynex machine. this is what Dynex has in their lab.
Jeez.
Huh?
Fuck.
IBM wanted to test the idea that the 127-qubit equal quantum computer could provide value for useful problem that challenge the leading classical methods. What do they solve? Okay, this is a lot longer than I thought. I should have looked at this before. I'm trying to look for the word that says that they...
Mike wants to basically, he is pro IBM.
Yes.
And it's a long-term game with IBM, though, guys. Basically.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Mike's opinion as well.
Neuromorphic computing is Dynex. Neuromorphic computing is a computer engineering method that models the human brain and nervous system to design hardware and software. It's also known as neuromorphic engineering.
I thought Elon Musk did that already.
I gotta look more into this. I don't know anything about neuromorphic, but it sounds like a really fun word, though. Sounds cool.
Sounds neuromorphic.
Neuromorphic. I do like the word, but yeah, I don't know. I know I kind of went on a rant on that with NVIDIA through everything, and
quantum computing does 1 and 0 simultaneously, while traditional computing does 1 and 0s consecutively.
Yeah. I thought quantum computing was also... I know it does it simultaneously, right? Like, it's not sequential, right. But I thought quantum computing also has a probability, right? It's a lot better at compute, like a traditional computer, right? Like my computer right now, if I'm using a calculator, like for exact numbers, like zeros, ones, and everything like that, my computer will work a lot better than a quantum computer. Yeah, but if I'm asking
quantum computers are probability based.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. They were probability based, which is they have to create so many different models, and it creates it's a whole. It's not a ton more compute. It's just a different type of compute, right, Dave?
I think it's on a larger scale too, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a large scale, but it's a computing. We'll look into it. That'll be something good for us to get some more information on it, Mike, and just and talk about it, because
we'll have a masterclass on it.
And we'll say it's financial advice, and we're experts in everything.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone just send us all of your Ethereum. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll take it all.
But yeah, I think mixing the quantum with the probability with the AI is kind of what the exciting thing was, right? Like dumbing it down to something that I could understand. What my takeaway from it, from watching all this stuff, is that mixing computers that can generate probabilities with different outcomes, that mixed with AI communicating with one another, it's a lot. It's a lot of breakthroughs that they can come out with.
That's pretty cool.
And everything like that. So it is interesting, very interesting stuff. I wonder how it will be implemented into, at home stuff. Like we're doing AI now, right? Like, will they have, possible quantum chips that come out that will be right next to these AI neural chips and stuff like that, that some of these manufacturers are coming out with? Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? But it's interesting stuff, Dave. Very interesting. It is so hard to stay up to date with all this. I try to like listen to as much as I can during the day, and it's while I'm working, if I'm in the car, I'm at the gym, if I'm wherever, like I'm always listening to these whether it's a podcast, whether it's like a simple explanation video and everything like that. I'm always trying to stay up to date, and it just seems like there's not enough hours in the day. It's just
I get it.
There's just I don't know how some of these people just stay up to date with everything. It's crazy. One thing I do love with like ChatGPT and Grok meditation, is it answers a lot of questions that like Google can't, right? Like if you ask it a question like how's this compared to this, and how can I understand it this way, like AI will be able to help you with that, these text-to-text models, whereas just Googling this stuff doesn't help, right? Like unless someone else has answered it or an article has been written about it, it's not really there. So just trying to stay up to date, Dave. Trying to stay up to date.
I hear you.
But Retro Mike is a neuromorphite. I have not said that in a while. Neuromorphite. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot of see these terms I don't even know.
Sometimes.
But yeah, it's
might be a little too much.
Yeah, exactly. But lots of exciting stuff coming. Lots of exciting stuff.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, we can talk about Flux just really quick. Or we have for 2 minutes. We'll talk about Flux.
Okay.
Because I know Hobbyist is doing a giveaway. So everyone watching this, jump over to his stream, enter that giveaway, win that giveaway.
Yeah.
Here, let me switch this over. Flux has been doing a really good job. They've been all over social media. They've been I know Jeff Q was in here earlier. They're doing a lot of cool stuff, and the person who's doing like the most from it, I think, community side by far and large, Mining Kiing. I mean, he's been putting out tons of information on this, and that's what I love about his videos and stuff, and how he approaches stuff is he just kind of like jumps into it, right? It's you see a lot of videos where they just talk about it, like, hey, there's this project, it does this, it does that, and sometimes they get paid to do it or whatever. But Mining Kiing, he always makes like an actual video. You know what? It's like backed up. He's comparing, I think, 3 other marketplaces like Clore and Vast, and I think there was one other one. But
that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, and his I guess the most profitable so far has been Flux Edge, on Fluxcore and everything. So it's
nice.
It's exciting. Flux has been, I want to say, outperforming the market. They have these weird jumps every so often, but over the last month they're up 27.6%, whereas Bitcoin over the last month is 6%. So usually Flux has been kind of like left in the dust, right? Like they whenever the market's rallying, they, like I said, like everything will rise up with Bitcoin, but Flux was kind of left in the dark a little bit. But they had a good run a couple months ago. But I have a lot of hope with their project. I gotta set up this or this one of those and put it on Flux Edge. I've been meaning to do that, but I haven't. So I need to get on that. Maybe I'll have that done by next week. But I am traveling this weekend. I will be going out to see the Mining Kiing in Kansas.
Nice.
And we will be working on your GPUs and ASICs, that if anyone has them hosted over there. So kind of just been relaxing a little bit this week, which has been nice. So next week I will be here though. So between now and then I'll be in Kansas. And Dave, what are you doing between now and then as we close up here?
I will be at my shop every day making cables, because I make cables to order. So
you make cables?
Yeah. I
didn't know that, Dave. You never told me you made cables.
I make cables that plug into things.
Oh, okay.
I make cables that plug into hopes and dreams and shit. You know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. This whole time I thought you just made different color light bulbs or something.
Yeah, that too. LED lights. I'm big into LED lights. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was good show today, guys. I know we kind of went off the rails here, but that's what we do. That's what we do on Wired Wednesdays.
That's it. No script.
Yeah, no script at all. I am going to look a little bit more into this though, if anyone's interested. I have been throwing the idea around, and I think Crypto Frank will probably be joining me on this. But we kind of want to have a strictly like AI slash, I don't want to say entrepreneurship, but like business type show at some point where we're going to do like a live show every week as well. But of course, we will be doing Wired Wednesdays every Wednesday. We'll not interfere, but yeah, maybe it's kind of geared towards that, because I know some people aren't super interested in this kind of stuff. But like I said, Dave, we kind of talk about what we want to talk about, right?
No matter what,
yeah,
let it ride.
But Max Voltage has one question before we jump off here.
I do, Max. I make Ethernet cables for myself only because they are a nightmare to make. I hate making Ethernet cables. They suck.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like terminating cables?
Oh God, terminating Ethernet cables is AIDS, bro. It's the worst. When I rewired my whole house, it's just hours. It's so time consuming, dude. And then if you just screw up once, you got to do the whole fucking cable again. You've done.
Is that why they say run two whenever you're doing it?
And don't buy cheap ends from fucking Amazon. You're gonna set yourself up for failure instantly. Yeah. Because the Amazon connectors are not vetted. They're just made, sold, doesn't matter. Every other one is not gonna work.
Yeah. They don't have the tolerances, right? It's like
yeah, I'll either go to electrical place or I'll just go to like low voltage electrical place, or just go like Lowe's because they're vetted, because it has to work right or they're gonna look stupid.
Yeah.
So that's you gotta yeah. Ethernet cables. Max triggered me.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today. Hop over to the Hobbyist Miners live stream. He is giving away some kind of box, but it sounds like a good box, so it's worth entering. But I guess other than that, we'll see you guys next Wednesday. We will be on Dave's channel, the Veteran Miner, and we will see you there. So hope everyone has a good night, and we'll see you guys next week.
Appreciate you guys. Later.
All right, bye. Oh, I clicked leave studio by accident. End stream. Bye, everyone.